Welcome back to the Astrocast. I'm your host, Drew. Today is Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. I hope you've all been doing well. Certainly been a busy week for me, but a fun one. Got some really cool stuff to discuss with you guys today. We're going to have a very special guest on this week, and I guess I just kind of want to be upfront with a couple of things. I'm actually I'm re-recording the intro because it got a little bit blown out during the initial recording. I'm using this software called Riverside for all of the remote interviews that I've been doing, and it generally works wonderfully, but sometimes I've had issues with audio being too loud and muddled, and that's why me and Nathan had to re-record our episode. But I think I've got most of it figured out at this point, but that intro got a little blown out. But I just want to say up front, this is a very deep dive conversation into equipment. So we're going to be getting into the weeds. We're talking harmonic mounts. We're talking worm gears. We're talking about the industry and practices that are occurring in the industry. And the guest that I have is incredibly educated about these things. And I might misspeak on a couple of things here and there. I apologize if I do. I was listening during the edit, and I know I caught myself saying one or two things wrong. So I'll make corrections as needed next week. But I want to say that if you have any questions after hearing this conversation, we want to see if we can get answers for them. So by all means, please feel free to shoot me an email, rue@theastrocast.com. And I will get back with my interviewee, and we'll definitely see if we can get answers. I know that a couple of questions came up in our Discord chat that I'm hoping to get answers on. I know we did discuss it during the interview. So after everybody listens, I'm going to bring those back to me, and then we will get answers and go from there. And I'm sure this won't be the only time we talk with him. But without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Pastor Rue and let him pick up that interview. Clear skies. I have a very special guest with us this week, who I'm quite thrilled to have on the show because I've seen his work for quite some time now. I actually came across him on Facebook originally, and I went to the webpage and was kind of blown away with what I saw. So today on the Astrocast, we have the founder of MLAstro with us. Hello, man. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good, and thanks for having me here.
Yes, very, very happy to have you on the show. Tell me a little bit about yourself, man. How did you get into astronomy? Like, how did you get to where you are today?
Well, by profession, I'm a civil engineering engineer. I have before MLAstro, I have a construction company, and we mostly do governmental contract. I'm from Vietnam,
okay.
Hanoi, the capital city of Vietnam. So I got into the astronomy very early. I think back when I was a teenage.
Oh, wow. Right? So a long time.
But, yeah. It was a long time. My first telescope was the Celestron Next Star HSE, right?
A classic.
I got fond of astronomy for a very long time, and then just quite recently, about 7 or maybe back in 2017, maybe, yeah. I got back to the astronomy and to astrophotography. First, I just do some Milky Way shot, right? Track astronomy, then it just one thing led to another, and then just a few years, I have a full blown astrophotography kit, and then in 2020, maybe after the pandemic, I got into solar astronomy, and I was hooked. I go all the way 8 years. I have my Etalon, my the dedicated solar scope, and then I started MLAstro is completely by coincidence. I was looking at the Solex project by Christian Bill. You know that one, right?
Yes,
The
yes, I
one
do.
you built the spectral holograph by yourself. I bought the optical kits from Xiaoyak. They sell that, and you're supposed to 3D print the body kit.
Yeah, the
right?
housing
And then
for
you
it
put
essentially.
the
Yeah.
the housing, yeah, and you put the optics on it, and you have a spectral holograph. So I 3D printed. I stumbled a few times. After about 4 or 5 iteration, I got it worked, but it's kind of a mess. The plastic housing, the 3D plastic housing, is not for outdoor use. After a few exposure, it just crumble.
Yeah.
It's become very brittle, right? And after long exposure under the sunlight, the plastic housing just flex. It's create all kind of problems.
Yeah, you can't
with
have
the
that.
optics. Yeah. So I was thinking, hey, I'm very familiar with the guys who do the CNC, right?
Yeah.
I have the 3D file, so why don't I just make it from aluminum, right? It will be more rigid. It will be more outdoor suitable for outdoor use. So that's what I did. I got into a chat with 2 friends, and they all very supportive of the idea. So I just got into making the aluminum Solex, right? And I got to about a few dozen of orders. People just came to me and say, "Oh, that's a good idea, right?" I posted my build on a solar group on Facebook, and people just came to me and, "Oh, can you make that for me?" I said, "Yeah, sure. It's cheaper. We can rake in a few orders and make it in batch, right?" So one thing led to another. We have the Solex, aluminum Solex, but then the design is still essentially a Solex by Christian Bill. It still have some problem. The focus mechanism is not very good, right? You have to use the Seljack slit, which is designed for nighttime spectroscopy, right?
Okay.
The slit actually used on other Seljack product, and they use all for nighttime spectroscopy.
Okay.
It is not suitable for solar exposure, right? Because you have a lot of heat flux, right?
Absolutely.
And it hit the slit and it destroy it. It requires you to put, an EAF, energy rejection filter, in front of the scope to reduce the heat that the slit will receive. So I think, well, maybe I can fix this. And first I got into design a housing, right, with focusing mechanism. Then I got to solve the slit problem by using a more durable, the quartz substrate.
Okay.
Right? It doesn't expand when it heat up. And then we got into a better coating, because the Xiaoyak coating is not suitable for solar use. It is very thin.
Yeah.
Right? And it's become semi-transparent in some wavelength, right? So we increase the thickness. When you increase the thickness, it creates other problems.
Yep.
Because you use the lithography technique to create the slit, the same the process that they use to create microchip.
Oh, right? Okay.
They etch away the chrome layer using acid.
Yeah.
And they have have a photoresist on the surface to protect the place that you don't want the acid to touch, right? So the thicker the chrome coating is, the easier, the harder for the photoresist to cleanly lift away. It has a lift off process where they wash away the place where it doesn't have the photoresist, right? And it's peel off the the chrome layer.
Oh, wow.
Right? But if your chrome layer is too thick, right, then on the lip-up process, you will have, some residual on the edge of the slit, right? And those residuals show on the slit as irregularity of the edge, right? And it create artifact when you do imaging. So for the some other spectrometer application, the edge roughness is not a problem, right? You can have the edge very rough like this, and it doesn't affect your like laser spectrometer or stellar spectrometer. But for
solar specifically, it's an issue.
Yeah, only the slit edge has to be very, very smooth, right? And we ran into that technical difficulty, and I solved it too. We have a patent pending.
That's great
Process to do the lift up cleanly, and it just create one of the best slit is being used on spectroheliograph, and that is one of the secret to MLAstro success.
I see that.
And then we have created also one of the best lens miniaturized optics, right, to be used on. So
that sounds like it all came about very organically, though. I mean, you essentially you had an interest, and then you wanted to make a better version for yourself, and then other people started asking about it, right? I mean, what better way to start a company for something that was already a passion of yours, right?
Absolutely.
I love that.
My construction company, right? I'm actually doing quite well financially with it. Obviously, in a country like Vietnam, if you are able to go full all in with astronomy as a hobby, right, you can afford a 20, 40 US dollar, $1,000 for a full rig, and you are easily in the tippy top of the 1% of the population, right? So before MLAstro, I was doing quite well financially, but of the decades that I do my work in the construction company, right, I don't feel like it's. I love what I do, right? I don't feel that. It's just job. I do it, but because it put food on the table.
I understand that,
and So.
That sounds very familiar to me. Because doing this show started because of my passion for astronomy, and I work in the IT sector, and I do pretty well in the IT sector, but it's not something that I love to do. And I love doing this. I love sitting down and talking with people like you and hearing your story and, how you come up with ideas. And like, I can completely understand where you're coming from in that regard.
Yeah. So that's everything. Every problem with that we solve with MLAstro is what I have experienced myself, right? I set out to solve that problem for me at first, right? So and then I just it come naturally that people want those too. They ran into the same problem too, right? And I think if I can help people with, I have a very strong industrial backing. I have background in the technology, and I have a team that help me, perfectly design and help make it into a marketable product. Right? And so, why not?
Absolutely. And I guess that leads very well into my kind of next question for you. Was it because in 2020, I probably don't need to tell you this as long as you've been into astronomy, but we saw just a huge explosion in the astrophotography sector post-pandemic because, so many people wanted something to do that was safe to do at the time, and astronomy, natural fit. Was that around the time when you started thinking about the SAL series mount?
Actually, the SAL 33 is I think about doing a harmonic mount for a long time.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The as you can see, people flocking to creating harmonic mounts, right? The reason is because it's relatively mechanically simple
Yes.
to do, right? For any other mount, say let's say the worm gear mount, right?
Yes.
We're very familiar with the German equatorial mount, the worm gear
Yes,
mount.
that's what I have in most of mine. Besides my AM3, I finally got a harmonic mount, but all of my others are worm gear. So yeah, absolutely.
That is the tradition German equatorial mount. So for the worm gear mount, you will need a few things. First, you will need an infrastructure to machine very rigid axis, right? You have to have the declination rotation,
yep,
right, and you have to have the RA rotation, and then you have to have a lot of connecting mechanism, right? For a worm gear mount, I'm estimating you need about probably a 100 or 200 a part. Right.
Okay.
But for a harmonic mount, you need 2 gearbox and a way to connecting them, and an hourglass base, some kind of hourglass base, and a lot of cheap budget type manufacturers go cheap out on it.
Yeah.
And make a flimsy base.
Of course.
As long as it works, right? So it is actually very mechanically simple and easy to make. Right? That is why people are
absolutely. I've got friends in our chat group in our Discord that have made their own harmonic gear mounts with 3D printers at home or sent away for CNC parts.
You can use a 3D printer. Yeah. So
absolutely.
So beside that, the worm gear mount, right? The geometry of the part is very hard to do with a simple lathe, right? You have round part, you have tube, you have a lot of things that it's very hard.
Much more complex.
Much more complex geometry, right? So sometimes they rely on casting and then machining the rest of the geometry that they need tolerance, right? So those kind of techniques required a significant overhead and significant still for you to reach a break-even point.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to have an established market, and you have to have an established manufacturing capability before you can even get into the game.
Yeah,
right? That
makes sense.
So that is the reason why there are only a few worm gear maker before from few, and it is very hard for new player to get in the game. So you can see that with the harmonic mount, the geometry is much more simple, right? You can do it with flat panel, and you can use connecting screw, right? And that is the reason the harmonic mount is exploding in popularity. Everyone can have a cut. Everyone can enter the market with relatively small investment and relatively small technical expertise. All the hardest parts is already on the gearbox.
Yeah,
right? The rotation,
the part that you buy off the shelf.
Line. Yeah. And so it's easier for people to get it.
You have me thinking now. The difference between your German equatorial mount and your harmonic mount, it seems like you need so much more knowledge and money, essentially, engineering skill, etc., to make the German mount. The harmonic mount being much simpler and easier to make with like off-the-shelf parts. It's funny that the companies, when they started coming out with them, were actually charging significantly more for the harmonic mounts, because I think most people like me, They just see it and they say, ooh, that's new and it doesn't need a counterweight. I'll pay more for that. But in reality, based on what you're saying, it was probably a lot easier for them to make those.
So actually the harmonic mount is also considered a type of German equatorial mount, AGM, right? The only difference is the drive technology, and for the German equatorial mount, you need the worm gear, right? And you need balancing for those to work, right? Or for the harmonic mount, it just replaced the worm gear and planetary gear with the harmonic drive, right? So I was saying that the harmonic mounts is easier to make, right?
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean it is cheaper.
True.
Right.
True.
The harmonic mounts, for us now, right? About half of the price of the product is now residing in the harmonic drive gearbox.
Okay, so that's a significant portion of the cost.
It's a very significant portion of the price markup is into the harmonic gearbox, because there are only a very few countries that have the ability to make those gearbox, right? Currently, the biggest player is Japanese. They are the one who come up with the harmonic drive.
Oh, really? I didn't know
idea,
that.
Right? Yeah. ADS, the harmonic drive system, is the first company to make a commercially available, and it's not a long time ago. It's maybe in the last decade or so.
Oh, wow!
Right.
So very recently.
Yeah, and then it's very recently, and then the Chinese get on with their, they have literally hundreds of harmonic drive maker in China right now. And then we have other players as well, but Japan and China is probably the two most common and a significant player. If you need super high durability, you go with the Japanese, and if you need a little bit, you're on the budget side, you go with the Chinese.
Gotcha. Do you mind if I ask what you guys are using, or does it depend on what kind of you're able to source? Or
no, we use Chinese gearbox. That for sure for our price range.
Yeah.
I'm only aware of two other harmonic mount maker that use ADS gearbox, and they all very expensive. Right. For example, the MLAstro, the Korean harmonic mount maker, right? They use the ADS, the Japanese harmonic drive, and their RSD 300, it's go into the 10 grand for the mounts.
Okay, right? So that's more like
an hour.
Yeah.
It's but a large portion of that goes into the harmonic drive gearbox, right? I think each of those is about $1,500 for the RSD, and you need two, right?
Yeah.
So it's about $3,000 for the gearbox alone.
Wow.
Right? You don't.
Yeah, that
it doesn't count anything else. So they charge 10 grand, and it's completely understandable.
Yeah.
They still take a considerable cut, but well, it is what it is.
It's like codecs, right? You got to pay if you want them. So it's going to be expensive because it's expensive technology.
So, we use Chinese harmonic gearbox, but we don't apologize.
No, you shouldn't apologize because you're making.
Let me explain.
Sure.
So for the harmonic drive, they were first designed for robotic use, right? They used on pick and place machine, on welding machine, right? The robot arm, you see the robot arm on the factory, on the automation factory, right?
Yeah.
So the harmonic drive is very good at one thing. It is repeatability, right? It can repeat the motion to the very precise.
Yes.
If you go online and you see the ATS, the Japanese, ads for the harmonic drive, they have a robot hand that go like this, and it back out and it go like this, and it has a gauge here, and it read how precise the movement of the arm, right? And it hits the exact place.
Wow.
Anytime.
Every time.
Every time, and the repeatability is very, very high, right? And it makes sense since the robot arm has to, go to the same place every time, right? It pick and place and it do the welding. If you have non-repeatability on that, you will have,
trouble. Yeah. You can't have that. And I guess that's why it transfers so well to what we do, because we also need something very consistent and repeatable as well with what we do, right?
This is what I'm going. For good repeatability, you need zero backlash, right? You cannot have a tiny bit of backlash, because if you have backlash, you can go in, or stiction, you can go in and out, and when you come back, it doesn't, it still have to eat up the backlash.
Yes.
Right? You can configure that with software calibration, but stiction and other things prevent that.
Yes.
Model to work very well, and you still have some, unrepeatability if you have backlash. The main design point of design goal of the harmonic drive is to have zero backlash, right? But another place that the harmonic drive is the transmission error, right?
Yes.
How you turn the input rotation into the output rotation.
Okay.
How precise those two correlate to each other. That is the transmission error. Right?
Okay.
And in astronomy, that is actually because you have to point where you want to point, right? And you have to move at the rate that you want to move, right? Because the sidereal rate is already fixed, and you have to move at that precise rate, right? The motor, you can control the speed of the motor, right? You can make the motor rotate at a fixed speed, right? But if the output is not tracking at a constant rate, you will have problem. And that is what we call periodic error. The
periodic,
error
yes,
that keeps repeating, on the output, right? So we have that problem with the harmonic drive, and the transmission error is usually high on the harmonic drive, and it's for even very expensive Japanese made harmonic drive. It's usually in the range of 60 to 90 arc second.
Okay.
To 80 to put that into perspective, for me it's huge.
Yeah,
right?
massive.
Well, one arc min to 1.5 arc min. Actually, the first harmonic drive, even the expensive one by the Japanese, they are not designed mounts in mind, right? So they have huge periodic error. To correct for that by guiding,
auto guiding, that's why German equatorial mounts might not necessarily need auto guiding for a 3-minute exposure.
If you make it very precise, and you have mount modeling, and some permanent periodic error correction, you might not need that.
And is that an inherent design with harmonic mounts? In other words, like, could they perfect them to the point where periodic error is no longer a problem as the technology evolves?
That is also what I'm getting into too, right? So so that is the problem with the initial design of the harmonic mount. They don't need to control the transmission error. Those can be calibrated out in software, right? If you go this way and it has transmission error, you just calibrate the software to go back up a little bit or go forward a little bit, right? So that can be easily calibrated out with software calibration. But for astronomy, we do not have that luxury, right? We have to correct for the deviation with guiding.
Yes.
So the Chinese, the red mount maker, right? They got into the marketing very good. Is that they push for the the advancement of the periodic error control from the Chinese maker, right? So actually, the Chinese harmonic drive now has a special class of harmonic drive that's specially designed for the harmonic mounts in mind, for the astronomy mount
Oh,
in
wow.
mind, right? They have very well controlled harmonic transmitted scenario, the
Periodic error.
right? You can see that for a few mount maker, they now specify plus minus 10 arc second.
Oh, wow.
Periodic error,
That's
right?
good. Much
That's
better.
about 20 arc second peak to peak, right? In comparison with maybe 90 or 100 arc second before, it's a huge improvement, right? So yeah, actually, if you are using the harmonic mount maker, harmonic drive from China, it actually an advantage for
I
the
see
harmonic
that.
in terms of periodic error, right? And one more thing to keep in mind is that the reason that the Japanese harmonic drive is very expensive, and they still are, and they still sell very well in robotic. We have the material science, the metallurgy go into the product, right? The drive that makes the drive is very durable.
Got you. Okay.
They measure up to about 1 million of rotation until the harmonic drive is considered. They have more backlash and other thing, and they consider a
Wow.
burnout.
Okay.
They drop it out there. But for astronomy
Not needed.
application, we do not need that much
Absolutely
of
not.
rotation at all, right?
Correct.
I don't think you will ever reach a few couple thousand of
Realistically, you
rotation
just
for,
don't need it.
For your whole mount's life. So
it just makes more sense in every sense, really, to use Chinese harmonic drive mounts then.
It has some other consideration, but those can all be weeded out with proper quality control
Yes.
and quality assurance, right? The defect rate of the Chinese harmonic drive is higher, of course, but we screen them individually, and that is why we rarely catch those problems. A fraction of a 1%.
Oh, wow.
1%. Yeah.
Very minimum then.
But it's still worth to test them individually.
Absolutely.
Without those problems before.
I think your
Go
customers
into
will
the final
definitely
product.
appreciate that too. I know for me, like,
Absolutely.
especially with astronomy gear, I prefer it be tested before it's sent to me, right?
So so that is the current situation with the harmonic drive, right? So the Chinese make a special class of harmonic, they have the enough order to push the manufacturer
Yes.
to go into the innovation and actually bring out a better class of harmonic drive for astronomy, and I think that is an incredible thing. You have something designed for a purpose, you use it on your use case, and you see that it is not not good enough, right? And
Yeah.
you have the order volume to push for innovation, and that is incredible.
That would never happen with something that is, such small volume, because it's so much more expensive. You'd never be able to get enough for them to make a change to the design.
You will never. Actually, I think it is just, aside from the quality control, it's a cherry picking the good one.
Yes.
Right? The factory have some periodic error control put in, right? But then they cherry pick the one that go into harmonic mount. When we order, we have to specify that, I want my periodic error below this threshold, right? And they have to pick those one, and the other one they let it go into robotic and the other application that doesn't require such a tight control or periodic error, right?
Sounds like
So
binning
it's actually a
CPUs.
byproduct of the in robotic industry.
Yes, that's awesome. So getting to your company, something I've noticed is that there's a real focus on user serviceability. You can see it as soon as you look at your mount. You can instantly know, like, okay, I can take this apart if I need to make a repair or if I need to reach out to customer service. And it speaks through your design philosophy entirely on something else that we'll get into in a little bit, with some huge decisions that I just applaud you for making with your software. But why did you want to make sure that users could repair things on their own? Like, why not seal it up and say, yeah, send it back to us and we'll fix it for you? Like, why was that important to you?
So I get where the manufacturer going with the close down, the everything is glued together and make it hard to repair. Like they don't want, not they, but me, even me, don't want people to poking around the product and breaking them themselves, right? But let's here this is sounds similar to you, right? You have a mount, it for some reason it broke down, right? And you are a very handy guy, and you know for sure that it's just some losing bell or other things that you can easily solve by yourself, right? And you just need the manufacturer to give you the instruction how to open the mounts and how to do the adjustment. But no, they said you have to send them back the mount, right? You pack them up, you miss a whole season of clear sky. Then you send it back at your own expense, about a few $100 for the shipping alone, right? They take them out after about dozen of email back and forth, and you threaten to go all on the public forum that they neglect your mounts.
Yep.
They were okay. I go ship back. We done the job on your mount, and we ship back. They ship back on your expense, a few couple hundreds of dollars more. And well, when you get it back, the problem is still there. He doesn't even get to fix that. Well, that is my personal experience with the.
This happened to you.
It's happened to me.
Wow.
So that is one of the things that I super annoyed that the mount maker just do that. Not just mount maker, all the astronomy gear just do that. The mount is not that hard, right? It should be user serviceable, and if it can be made user serviceable, it should be made user serviceable. And astronomer is by design, we are very handy, very
absolutely
want to poke around and thing, and we that is the part of the joy of the hobby, right?
It is.
You troubleshoot your gear, you you make them work, you see how they work under the hood. I think that speaks to the vast majority of the people who are into astronomy, right? The curiosity, the handiness.
Yes.
So I think making the mounts user serviceable is not only that; it is a sound business decision, right? For us, we have very thin margin. If we have to pay for the shipping back and forth of the mounts just for a simple service, it will never work on our end, right? I'll be out of business in weeks if that happens.
Yes.
So we realize on the user serviceable. We provide instruction. I do a video calling, and I provide all the part in the SAL33 is off the shelf. Right, you can replace the driver, you can replace the motor, you can replace the belt, right? And you don't even have to wait for us. We can do a refund, or we can send you the money to buy the needed part locally.
Wow!
Right? So you have minimal downtime. So that is, I think is what really easy to do. For example, the part that we expect the most trouble to come from, the electronic, right? The controller.
Yeah, of course.
You can just remove 4 screw and pop the board out, and you have the driver is plug and play. If it gives you trouble, you just unplug it and plug in the new one in.
Oh, I love that.
Right? And the other part, like the gearbox, if it has problem, that probably is some place that the user couldn't do service on them.
Of course.
We have forwarding warehouse, and if it comes to that, definitely you have to send it back. But we have warehouse, you only have to ship domestically, and we will find a way to compensate you for the shipping. And the ship back is we will try to use the cheapest possible, but overseas shipping is that is the problem here. So I'm happy to report that because of our QC, the quality control and quality assurance, the first batch is pretty smooth sailing so far. We do not have any serious problem. There are a few shipping related problem like loosened belt, but
yes,
all of those is easily solvable, and it's proven is a proof of concept
yes,
that our user serviceability is working. Right, I can have people even with the scope on the mount. Right, we can have they strip down the mount in minutes
yes,
using one Allen key. Right, and I can walk them through how you tighten those belts, how do you check for the part that is giving you problem, and there are probably 2 cases out of about almost 100 on the first batch have that problem, real shipping related problem, and all resolved quickly, and customers were very happy with it. They also like that they can poke around the mount and take a look.
I bet they
inside,
do.
Right?
I know I would too.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that is the way we are approaching the problem of shipping back and forth the mounts, right? And I think it is working. It needs more time to prove it working, but we have the mechanism, and we have the pre-planning for if things goes wrong. How do we face that? How do we solve that with the customer?
That's great. So I think the big difference here is you're an astronomer who is building an astronomy mount for other astronomers, and the types of problems that people run into and the frustrations
Absolutely.
that you've already dealt with. And I mean, I don't know how many, given I haven't spoken with every company in the world, but I will say that is a very refreshing take. It's good to hear. It actually kind of leads me to my next question. We've talked about the hardware a little bit, but one of the biggest things that I've seen on your website is that you guys are using OnStepX open source software for your mount. That's a very, very big deal. Tell me a little bit about that.
Actually, now that if you go into the mount making business, right, you do not have a lot of choice in terms of software, the controlling software, right? You have a few proprietary software, right? Then you have the open source, and the most commonly used is OnStep, mostly because it is very popular. It uses stepper motor for controlling. A lot of other, mount controller firmware use the server, right? Server.
Yes.
So those are more expensive, and they are harder to control. It is very hard to get consistent result with not a lot of electronic background or knowledge, right? For the OnStep, they already provide reference design. You can poke around and modify a little bit on the reference board, and you can have you're good to go in days instead of months.
Yes.
Developing the electronic, right? So the OnStepX is actually a natural choice when you go into a harmonic mount. That is why I think 90% of the maybe 100% of the Chinese or small maker, harmonic mount maker out there use on-step
Yes.
X, right? On-step, but we use on-step X. So the difference here is how we approach the open source, right? Now I have nothing against closed down system, right? I get where where people are going with the closed system. They want to protect their intellectual property, right? They pay time and human resource to do the development. They are entitled to reap the result.
Yep, the reward.
Of their
Absolutely.
hard work, right? Yeah, they're entitled to that. But what I'm having problem with some of the Chinese equipment maker is that the blatant disregard for the open source licensing, right?
Yes.
A lot of the open source is free for use under commercially use, right? But it it's under GPL licensing, right? And you are required to make your derivative work open source too, right? That is the way we keep the open source community be open source,
Exactly.
right? And not closed current. You have to play with the rule, right? You cannot just take the open source and then play by your own rule. That is the biggest problem that I'm having with the other maker that is utilizing open source and then close down, and even more the other equipment doesn't compatible with their system. That is just not just unethical, it's downright illegal.
Yes, right? I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so we don't want to do that. Even if you do not do any direct, right? It is understandable that people just forget how other works is put in the outsourcing, right? It is people have to pay real time with the it just feel wrong to profit of those work and give nothing back, right? I'm a personal friend with Howard Dutton, the lead developer of OnStepX.
Okay.
Right? I know him before MLAstro, right? And I have done when I use my first time using an on-step mount is the GTR, the Giant GTR from JTW.
Yes.
The friction mount I use my first stint with on-step was from that mount, and I reached out to him and I do a small donation just to thank him for the awesome work he done on step, right? So it just feels wrong that I am now doing a commercial product and I profit off his work and doesn't give anything back, and that is why I told Howard Dutton, hey, I gonna use your software on our mounts and I want to pay you a royalty fees for each mount sold.
Wow.
It's not much, but it's something to get to help you with the project, right? And that is what we're doing. So what at the first I can see it's skeptical. He's thinking, oh, another harmonic mouse maker. I don't think that will be much, but well, we have been paying him.
I love that.
But it's something, and
it is something, and that's so important.
It is a sound business decision too, right? It's not just it's not just charity.
Yeah, no, right? Not at all. That's hard work.
Yeah, it is a sound business decision. Why I'm saying that? Because, for example, we ran into a few problems with the commercial release of the SL33, right? We have the problem with, right? I tested it with K-Star, I tested it with Ninite, they all work, but I haven't I tested with ACI, but limited testing because the controller personally. So
me either. I haven't used this thing. It's a paperweight now.
Yeah. So I tested, but it doesn't show that problem. But as soon as someone who used ASR, as a primarily imaging device, they have problem right out the gate.
Wow.
And and actually that is not the problem with our mounts personally, because it has been there. The problem has been there for God knows know how long, and a lot of people using AS Air has been have that problem with on step for for forever. And I talked with them and they said, oh no, it's always behaving that way, and we just find workaround and the way to. They said, oh no, it shouldn't work that way. It should it should work. So I call the Howard and we work it out, and I implement the fix in the and now it's on Stepic Mint's brands for everyone to to use, right?
Wow.
And then a lot of other things like that. On Stepic, it has a lot of quirk, right? Howard is a great guy, but he's a little bit old school, right, on his approach to the mounts. He's knows the system inside out so well, so he just doesn't see the need to fix those.
Yes.
Right? He say, "Oh, you just do this and do that, and it worked." But no, the beginner, the new user,
yes,
who just
I
have
understand.
the first thing with on step will not see it that way. They will see it a buggy system. It's not commercially ready. You need to fix those, and I put those requests, and he fixed it in the next day.
Wow.
He's very, very productive, but he needs the user feedback. I think one of the biggest on step is that Howard lacks the end user feedback.
I understand.
All the thing is from the group IO, the his group IO forum, right? The mailing list. These are all
experts.
Enthusiasts. They are experts, so they don't see those problems too. They don't have that problem of a a new user getting into on step. So we can be that bridge, right? We can give him the that he needs to to complete. For example, one of the very quirky behavior of the on step mount is that if you slew the mount or it doing go to, right, and it hit one of the limit, for example the meridian limit, right, freeze. It doesn't respond to any other command. You press home and it freeze, and people say, "Oh, it's the mount broken."
Yeah.
And I have to turn off the mount and it go back again. But that actually is a safety mechanism, right? When it hit the limit, right? You have to manually slew the mount. Use the arrow key, right?
Yeah.
Manually slew the mount out of the limit first, and then after it got out of the limit, you can press go home, right? It is actually an industrial approach to the problem. If something strong happen, right, you have to have manual labor.
Yes.
You have to supervise what is going on. You have to debug it, and you have to bring it out that way. But for the average user, if I hit the go home button and the mount doesn't go home,
they don't understand.
We got a problem. Yeah,
it's so funny. All the things that you just described, I see on a daily basis in the IT industry, and me and my colleagues will talk about it. Where like for us, it's so easy to just, I know the workaround and just do the workaround and then keep it moving, and that's how our brains work. But the person who's emailing me their problem, they don't know. They don't want to hear anything about a workaround.
So that is what I'm trying to do with OnStep here. I'm trying to make it more user friendly.
Yes.
And we also have that fixed for the limit problem on OnStep, and now it's also available for everyone else to use.
That's so
now,
great.
If it hits one of the limits, you just hit go home, and if the go home movement bring the mount out of the limits,
it
will continue to do so. That is very convenient for a new user, right? So
and since it's on step, like you just said, if you fix that for your mount, it fixes it for all on step mounts.
It's I'm working with Howard on the main branch on StepX, right? we use the vanilla code on Astropeak. We make some configuration chain which is reflected on our GitHub, but
that's great.
It essentially the main branch. So any was on MLAstro mount is now available for the public to use. Wow. And that is, I think, is the spirit of open sourcing.
Yes.
Right. You keep the run going.
The project alive. And, yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm happy that I can, provide a monetary support, and I can provide the feedback for the project, and we will keep doing that. We are working with the whole world on a very problem. I think I can share more of it now because it's almost complete. For 1 year mounts, right?
Yes.
If your mount hit under the snap, no problem, because the torque is not that great, right? The stepper just keeps stepping. Yes. Have problem. Yeah. But for harmonic mounts, right? It has some scary amount of torque, right? You are talking about a lot of torque.
Yes.
So if something is to go wrong, it go very wrong, and can damage seriously
absolutely
your equipment. Yeah. So people have been trying to solve that by limit sensor, by other stuff, right? But for the SAL66, right, I told Howard that I do not want to be the first mount maker. The customer, they crush their finger or doing some, you don't want to be that headline.
No, you do not. That's news you could do without.
I told him that we need to have some kind of, collision avoidance system, right? And before other manufacturer, right, they for anti-collision.
Yep.
The mounts have the motor head encoder. When it detects that it's skipping step, it just stops, right? But for the stepper motor, right, we don't have that. But I'm working with Howard, and we are deriving a collision system for the stepper. If the mount hits, instead of skipping step, hit a collision, it just a bit.
Wow.
And keep going, and it actually Howard is reporting that.
Wow. That's huge.
And it's, you do not need any kind of sensor. It's your sensor on that.
Wow.
You just it just utilize something called stall guard on the stepper driver. It's already there. Everything else is just software, and we can make it public soon after extensive testing. But it is feasible. It's doable. Right?
Wow.
And those kind of advancement, I think, will be very hard to get it to be done, right? If you don't have the monetary support, have the say in the project, like
absolutely,
with our contribution, right? And I just happy that I can be that guy. I can do this little thing.
That affects the entire astronomy community. A fix like that.
I hope that we can make a difference here, and I think we have a real shot of doing that. Right? I think community more open.
Definitely think so. I think you should prepare yourself, because I'm telling you, like, based on talking with you, like, the right thing here, looking at it from an outsider's perspective, I was like, wow, this looks really great. This is special. And open source, wow, he's really going in on this. And now sitting down and talking with you, I can tell how passionate you are about it. And I can tell how important it is to give back to the community. And in this hobby, I say, for astronomer, it's a passion. It's a way of life almost for us. It's people really resonate with that. And especially if you're putting out a great product like you guys are, prepare yourself. because you're going to be making many more batches if you continue in this direction, for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. Gosh, there's so many other topics we could talk of open source. And when I started in photography, it's funny. I went through this cycle. I started with a laptop and plugging everything up and using open source software, and then I eventually found Redbox, and this is easy, and how easy it was. But over many PCs are becoming portable, and Nina K-Stars, you can run K-Stars on a Raspberry Pi. And then I started thinking bigger in terms of my projects and what to be able to collect, and really using the little red box observatory, it makes no sense at all. It really doesn't. So why would myself going back to where I originally started? And I'm very, very happy about that. Quickly realized that this isn't with everything. People don't realize they buy this, they buy the red camera, the red mount, but then eventually you want to try other cameras, and maybe you have a Canon camera or any other QHY camera, and when you can't use it, that's when you run smack into that wall, and that's when you start hearing all the stories, and that we haven't even talked about PhD 2 and that whole disaster. But what you're doing, it's very, very impressive, and the whole community should be thanking you for what you're doing. It's very respectable.
Thank you. And I said it before. The decades that I'm doing the construction work, I do very well financially, but I have never a single time in my life been generally thanked by our customer.
I understand.
Right? But it is refreshing when I get into when I started MLAstro, and I can see that people are happy with the instrument, right? And I've been generally thanked by and it just hit me personally, right? It's very fulfilling.
It is absolutely
job, and I just love that.
That's great. That is so great. I'm so happy for you, man. That is so wonderful.
So speaking of the SR, I'd never use it personally, right? I think it's a great approach, but I just have the problem with the way they utilize open software and then close it down on a system. I don't think I think that is wrong.
I agree.
That is wrong. And I'm happy that there are competition on the horizon. Maybe not. I have this one here.
Okay. Yes.
But it's quite buggy.
Okay.
I'm working very good, relationship with TubeText. I have a camera on our SHG 700, right? And I recommend the camera, but I have a direct line to TubeText.
That's wonderful.
I will try to help them with the development and user feedback. If they choose to listen.
Hope they will, okay. Because where can you get better feedback than the community of astronomers and astrophotography enthusiasts?
Absolutely. If they want to listen,
if they want to hear it,
I hope they do.
Yeah, it sounds like you're with. I'm sorry. Did you say his name was Howard?
Howard Dutton.
It sounds like he's really listening, even though he's an old school guy, as you said, and that's so great.
Howard actually I don't think I have ever seen someone that productive, right? His productivity is off the roof. If he sees an error or some request, he got in on it, and just days or hours, you got the an email, and the fix is already on the Min's brand. You can test it. It's amazing. He's I don't think I have ever seen, and I don't know, he's in his 60 maybe. But
I was thinking he's got to be an older gentleman if he's been around this long. This is great.
Yeah, it's I'm pushing for some other change to the software suites, but I think we have a real shot of making a difference here, and making not only on step, but the whole ecosystem. He has an ecosystem built around on step, right? They have the whole suite, and I want to make it more users compatible, friendly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I certainly hope that it continues going in that direction, and if I can help spread that word, I am very happy to do that, and honored to be a small part of helping spread the word.
Yes.
So let me just say,
need all the help we can get. Yes.
Let me just say, if you haven't yet seen Ming's work, check out MLAstro.com. Are you doing pre-orders right now for the next batch, or do you know when you'll be doing your next pre-orders?
Our pre-order is in the fifth batch, right? It's for the SAL33. We do everything in batch, and we only take fully paid pre-order. That is actually our business model, right? As you can see, the SAL is relatively cheap.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yes.
It's $1,099 currently, and for comparison, we just to put thing into perspective, right? We have to pay for the same amount for the harmonic drive, in comparison with a certain red car manufacturer, right? They have the order, they can negotiate very good price.
Yes,
but not us, right? We do not have that kind of volume. Secondly, the electronic are pretty much the same, right? We may pay more since we
volume again.
We use a volume again.
Yep.
The smaller batch production, right? So they always push the price up. So I think realistically we are having the bill of material higher than popular brand.
Absolutely, right? I'll say so.
And so we are saving on some business overhead. Like we do not have the huge infrastructure that they have to operate, right? But realistically, I think our factory price is higher than them, right?
I mean that just makes sense at the scale. Yeah, absolutely. But you're still selling it for significantly less than what the big companies are charging.
You can literally, it just dawned on me yesterday that if you placed an order for 2 SAL33 included shipping to the US, right, you still pay less than if you in AM5N at the US.
You
get 2 for 1.
$2,500 now for an AM5, aren't they?
Yeah. You pay $2,400 and
wow.
I don't remember.
Wow.
But it's still cheaper, right? And our cost is relatively the same, right?
And
so you can see that
you don't get a laser engraved front plate with your own.
Oh, you have to pay for that too. It's $20.
But still significantly less, and you can't get plates on your head mount. I love that you do that, by the way. I saw the picture that you posted of the next batch about to go out with all the different front plates on it, and I just love that so much, because when someone personalizes their mount, I think it becomes more special to them. And I personally think they're a lot less likely to say, I'm going to get a new mount and get rid. They're going to hold on to those. You know what I mean? Because it's theirs.
And the beautiful thing is with the modular design that if they eventually decide to sell it, right, they can just get a new plate.
They can just replace the plate
from us, and they can just replace the plate. That is the beautiful side of the modular design, right? You can just replace the parts that have problem and keep it going for years.
Yes.
Right. Another thing that I'm going to announce in a few days, but I think I can get to give you a sneak peek, is that right the azimuth adjustment screw, right? It is a little bit the thread side is a little bit rough, right, and it creates a lot of movement when you adjust it.
Okay.
Just a little bit, the adjustment go a lot, right? It actually there though.
Very much so.
Right. But we decided to fix that. All right. We use a finer thread on the adjustment screw, make it very smooth, and the adjustment is now twice as you have twice as the resolution, the precision.
I love that.
Right. And I decide to give all of our first batch customer who have already received the mount a free upgrade, and they just pay for the deposit fee, and they just remove the few screws holding it, and and pop, they are ready to go with the with the new upgrade. And it is why we choose to go with the modular design. For example, the robotic polar alignment kit, right?
Oh yeah.
we have the plan for that from the inception of the SAL33, right?
So you've always been planning for that from the get.
Always planning for that. That is why I was insist making the attitude adjustment.
Yes.
Style.
Yes.
Right? You cannot have.
This is a very big deal. So your azimuth altitude adjustment is incredibly precise without having to lock it down. And let me tell you, from someone who owns mounts from multiple different makers, no one has solved that problem properly yet. I mean, people have gotten close. Don't get me wrong, but that is so important. And I'm hungry to get my hands on one of these. I'm going to be ordering one in the next batch for sure. But anyway, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt.
We have that in mind for since inception, right? But at the time of the SAL33 finishing development, right, we have two choices. We can wait for the robotic polar alignment to be ready and release it with the mounts, maybe half a year or a year of development, right? Or we can go ahead and release the mounts. And I decide that waiting more would just, create more uncertainty.
Yeah.
So we decide to go ahead and release the mounts. But we want to make the existing mount to be compatible, right? We want the robotic polar alignment to be a retrofit kit, not just some up the top, and you have to throw away your current mounts and buy a new one. I don't want that. The mount head detachable, because we doesn't work out the geometry and the then we have an idea of what we want to do and how we want to do that, but we do not have a blueprint of the design just yet, right? A lot of things can change. So we decide that we will make the mount head detachable. Now you can unscrew the mount head by using unscrew 4 screw and detach. And next time if we have the RS bay, you just put it on the new one, the motorized one, and you do not even have to throw away the old RS bay. We have to use for that too, right? An adapter plate that you can put on, and put your C-Star S50 on that.
Oh wow, that's great!
On that.
So you can reuse it as well.
You just at the RS bay from the C-Star is horrible, right? A lot of option is now just unusable. Or if you have a star tracker, or they
always have bad Altaz mounts. I have a Ioptron star tracker. Same problem.
You can the adapter is very very universal, right? You have the 3/8 inch screw, right? We just have to have that, and a few more screw hole for adapting to the existing tracker or the C-Star or other smart scope that required equatorial alignment, right? So
Man,
that is the kind of business from right from the start. And yeah,
it's a whole philosophy really around the company from the ground up. It's very clear that you're designing things to not only last a long time and be user repairable, reusable. I mean, I'm thinking 95% of companies in the world would just release the SAL 33 Plus that's now compatible with, robotic polar alignment, and you'd have to go out and buy a whole new mount. But you said, no, I'm not going to do that from the get-go.
We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. I don't know, but we Vietnamese, we do not throw anything away.
Is it part of the culture for Vietnamese to reuse and keep things?
Reuse and keep things going for us. Mindset, we just got out of the war a few decades ago, right? My father's generation, he go back from 2 wars and then go build our country, right? We are the child of that generation, and we have been very, extreme hardship. I'm very lucky that I have a more financially secured family in the country, but we have been through extreme hardship. We just been taught to, not to waste anything. You try to reuse, to put new use into your even for the Astropeak, we don't want it to be, a paperweight, a throwaway.
Yes.
It has to have some, some purpose, some way to make it work for you. And
that's so great. I think if more of us in the world could think that way, it would be a better world very quickly.
Even if you do not have an use for the Astropeak, I believe that you can sell it on second-hand market. People can have a use for it, right? And people have been. I have pressed that to make our zero ship Astropeak available to to other mounts.
Just standalone product.
Make it a C-Star compatible, right? And I always said that. Well, currently we do not have plan for that, but maybe you can buy the second-hand Astropeak from
they will be out there at some point. They will definitely be out there. Well, do you have a timeline in mind for the polar alignment?
For the SR, currently actively developing the. We are currently actively developing the our Astropeak, right, along with the the manual.
Yeah.
Manually.
Yeah.
For the SAL33, if we have the SAL66 motorized by working, right? It's just a matter of miniaturize the thing, and we can do that in weeks. Go my way, I think we can have the SAL66 robotic polar alignment available around late.
Oh wow!
The main problem here, so to have robotic polar alignment, you have to solve 2 things, right? You have to solve the mechanical side of it. You have to make the work without tightening the.
Yep.
You have to make it light enough to be movable by a small stepper, right?
Yes.
And make no mistake, it is no small feat, right? You can have, for example, for the SAL66, right? We are estimating about 8 upload.
Wow.
Putting on that mount, right? And you have to move it with a tiny stepper motor, right? It is no small feat, but we are confident that we solve that problem with the zero ship alignment. And so the other part of the problem is the software side, right? The electronic is simple, you just right, but for the software side of things, right, we are working with Jason Motlak, the lead developer of Indie and K-Star,
Oh, wow.
It's on the way to him right now. So he will use that to make sure he loved the idea of
I'm sure he
it, right?
does.
I sent him an SAL for his he will make sure that it is his first on step mount too.
Oh, wow.
So integration with the on step driver. With Indy, you can expect smooth forward because JSON is on it.
Yeah.
Right. And I have discussed with him, and we will, as soon as I have a prototype for the RPA, I will send him with the protocol so that he can work on integrating the polar alignment routine into the K-star polar alignment. You
Wow.
know that one,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yes, I do. I've used it many times.
We just want to make it a turnkey. People plug it in, and for example like a focuser, right? It's not much different, right? It's converging, and they just
True.
Do things like that. So the other part of we try to make it compatible with ASCOM, right? The current approach with RPA with other manufacturer is they try to make it a serial device and make it work with the Nina as a plugin, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to do things more long term here, right? And make it, ASCOM and a new class. Currently, there are no class for, robotic polar alignment.
Wow.
Right? You do not have that class of device, right? You do not have that class of device in ASCOM. And I hope that if things go our way, I can make that a class of device in ASCOM. And we will see how that works. And if that doesn't pan out, I will just have, the plugin, which is the Nina plugin, which is the current approach with a lot of window-based users.
Of course, and observatories. A lot of people run Nina, obviously, and I'm betting that a lot of people who are setting up an SAL 66 are doing so in a permanent location, and they want to be able to remotely polar align, right?
So and we also have a standalone web interface running direct independently on the RPA, on the robotic polar line. You can move it manually if your software doesn't support it.
Really? I love that.
Your maker just don't choose to play along, right?
That's great.
You can, hook it onto your home Wi-Fi or observatory Wi-Fi, right? And I think a lot of people will use it that way.
Oh yeah, redundancy
fine tune the adjustment without running the whole routine.
That's great.
So yeah, we have the multi-prong approach, right? There are some manufacturers that will not choose to play along, that for sure, but even for those we'll still have and that is the kind of way we are approaching the problem.
I love it. I think it's wonderful. I love the whole philosophy around the company. Kind of blown my expectations away. I had already high expectations, but man, I'm forward. I just think it's so wonderful. It's a great thing for the community, and anybody listening to this, very excited about what you're doing, because ultimately of changes have to start somewhere, and
absolutely there has to be
absolutely
if you want to see one change, you just be the change you want to see in the world, right? If you don't do it, who will, right?
I love that. You could apply that to so much in the world right now, and I'm so so thank you so much. I definitely want to have you back on the show. If you'll come back on, absolutely. I would love to have you. And I will certainly stay in touch. I'll email you. We'll stay in touch, and we'll definitely have to have you back on soon.
Absolutely. Another thing that I think I would want to share.
Sure.
For our future customer. about the small batch production, right? We have a way to the financial risk low, right? We
Yes.
don't have to
Oh yeah.
bet something don't sell, and we keep the capital investment low, right? Because we already have the capital for the production batch, right? But currently keeping production intentionally keeping the production size small and the batch far uh, from each other, right? I have a very strong industrial backing.
Yes.
Vietnam is becoming the second largest manufacturing hub in the world, just coming after China, right? I have the ability to expand our production 3-4 times just by a few phone call, right? But thing that is not going scale well in MLAstro is the customer service. I'm handling it personally, right?
Yes.
So I'm keeping the batch side manageable. I still have a day job. I still running the construction company. So
this is important though, because you don't want to scale too fast, because then you're not able to take care of your customers and your product. And I completely understand. Actually, a guy that a friend of the show, Nathan, he's actually opening a remote observatory. And while he has people lined up wanting to get a spot, he's only starting with 50 because he wants to make sure that all of those peers are running perfectly before he expands. So I completely respect the model, and it's the most, best way to do it if you really want to, make it last long term.
Yeah. So so there's that. And about the pricing, I will announce it, but we are experiencing some price hike. Because it's also been there. The plan for the price hike has been
of course,
there from beginning.
Absolutely, founders get a little bit of a discount expected.
Yeah, so we remind of price hike, and I want to share the reason for it. We have a new administration in Vietnam just recently, and let's just say they are very small business unfriendly, right? There are a lot of new regulations and tax scheme that require compliance.
Yes,
it create a lot of stress on us recently. That is part of the reason why the SAL33 is currently not available on any other dealership. It's only strictly available exclusively on MLAstro, partly because we do not have the margin for a dealership cut. More importantly, that we currently do not have a reliable way to receive payment from overseas, right? PayPal is the only payment currently out of the government nosy hand, but that's gonna stay, and we do not have a really big shipment out of the country. Those
those are situations at hand, but can change in time though, and hopefully they will. Hopefully things will improve.
I hope that they will come to their sense and let the small guy a chance to grow too.
Yes,
they all want to be bigger player, have all the fun, but how do you get big player if you don't let the small guy grow, right?
You have to be there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. No, seriously, I think that's important to share with people, because so many times you see a price increase for any reason and you never get an answer. It's just that's what it is now. That's one.
We do not want that. Value openness.
Clearly,
MLAstro is built around openness.
Yes.
And if I have a price hike, I want to explain, and not just explain that is what happening.
Yes.
Right? It is for the price hike. It is for complying. So I think I will have hike after the fifth batch finish. So give people some more time to grab the SL33 at the price that they want. and then from fifth batch onward, we will have a price. We'll try to keep it as minimal as possible. We have about 10% of more tax-related problem to comply, so it'll be about 10% of price hiking, and I hope that will be for the foreseeable future.
Well, good. Well, I'll certainly hope that things get better in that regard for you. And as an American, I can tell you that I understand what it's like to have a crazy situation that but
the administration is,
oh, buddy. But Minh, thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking with you today. Please
likewise,
keep in touch, and we'll talk more. Okay.
Okay, absolutely, and take care, and please let me know when the show airs.
Oh, I will, absolutely. I will send the link. Absolutely, I will definitely do that. And thanks for spending some time with me today. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thanks,
and,
I wish you the best of luck. Huge thank you to Minh for coming on the show from MLAstro, of course. You can check them out at MLAstro.com. I'll obviously have a link in the show notes as well. And like I say, guys, if you have any questions that arise from the interview about the SAL model mounts that you would like to have answered, or spectroheliographs, because they do make a very nice one as well, please feel free to shoot me an email. You can send it to ru@theastrocast.com, and I will be sure to speak with Minh about it. Once I get a list of questions together, I'll email him about them and see if we can get answers, or maybe we'll just hop on a call and see if we can do that as well. I will tell you, planning to chat with someone in Vietnam is very interesting, because I believe it was like 8 o'clock at night where I was, in 8 a.m. the next day where he was. So it's definitely interesting speaking to somebody on the other side of the world. So I just want to say another really, really big thank you to Minh for coming on the show and speaking with me. It means so much. It's really cool that I'm starting to get the ability to, speak with people in the industry who are, making big moves and hopefully creating genuine competition for the big groups that are out there. Because obviously I own a lot of ZWO gear. That company's probably gotten more money than any other astronomy company out there from myself, and I'm sure many of you as well. But competition is a great thing in this industry. And the more that there is, the better the community will do. So thank you for what you're doing, Minh. It's huge. It's going to make a huge difference. And you're going to have to figure out how to get more production lines going soon, man, because I can tell you with what you're doing, it's going to take off. So thanks so much for tuning in to the Astrocast this week. I'm your host, Ru, and as always, clear skies.
Wednesday evening, the feed goes live. Ru's voice cuts through the dark like a 135. From backyard scopes to mountain peaks, we're all tuned in, no time to sleep. Red dot finders, coma correctors gain. He breaks it down like it's simple, never pain. Comets rising, planets in the frame. Every week we chase the sky by name. Pixels glowing, hearts align, thousands of miles, one state of mind. This is the Astrocast, where the dark brings us to the light. From Florida to the UK lights, we're wide awake under the same sky. Discord pinging, never quiet. Rules on the mic, the whole world's invited. This is the Astrocast. Yeah, this is the Astrocast. Someone in Texas just nabbed the horse head. A guy in Chicago stacking flats